the Gauntlet. A race against time where glory and the thrill of victory will be decided by the obliteration of demonic meat sacks. With only 8 minutes of playtime, what options do we have? The difficulty of this event is only set at monster level 124, which is roughly the same difficulty as a tier 70 Nightmare dungeon. So armed with this knowledge, I knew it was time to try and emulate Galactus, becoming the resource-starved, planet-consuming cosmic vacuum itself, ready to suck up and full send on anything stupid enough to stand in our way. Reflecting on my viable options in Season 3 and pondering the meaning of life, I knew I had to seek a higher power for inspiration. After watching all the Doctor Strange movies, I knew I too could become a master of the mystic arts. My sorceress could conjure balls of lightning, and that's exactly what I was going to do. I had lethal balls of lightning ready to swirl around my girl as fast and as frequently as Diablo 4 would allow. Ready to reach for success in this ticking time bomb of an event, our diabolic avatar was going to need some serious upgrades to compete with the best in the world, which is why we're not using one, not two, but 3 uber uniques in this ball lightning build for Diablo 4 Season 3. And since we're talking about competing at the highest levels,
always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
the skill tree is as follows: 1 point into Firebolt and 1 point into Enhanced Firebolt. We only need 2 points so we can access the rest of the tree. Where we are going to max out Fireball with 1 point into Enhanced Fireball and ultimately choose Destructive Fireball. Put 1 point into Devastation so that you can max out Elemental Dominance. Once you get down to your defensive tree, 1 point into Flame Shield, ultimately going all the way up to Mystical Flame Shield. You're then going to put all 5 points into Teleport, ultimately moving up into Mystical Teleport, with 3 points into Elemental Attunement. Max out Glass Cannon, mine says 5 out of 3, that's because of my Raiment of the Infinite Chest. Moving into your Conjuration tree, 1 point into Ice Blades, ultimately going down into Summoned Ice Blades, 1 point into Lightning Spear, ultimately arriving at Summoned Lightning Spear. You are going to put 3 points into Conjuration Mastery, mine says 6 out of 3, and that's because my Amulet gives me plus 3 ranks. You're going to put 1 point into Align the Elements so that you can get 1 point in Protection. Moving down into your Mastery tree, max out Ball Lightning. Make sure you have 1 point into Enhanced Ball Lightning and 1 point into Wizard's Ball Lightning. You are going to put 1 point into Static Discharge and 2 points into Invigorating Conduit. Once you get down into your Ultimate Skill tree, put 1 point into Unstable Currents, 1 point into Prime Unstable Currents, and 1 point into Supreme Unstable Currents. 1 point goes into Coursing Currents so you can have 3 points into Conduction. Finally, your key passives is going to be Esu's Ferocity. The skill choices for the build, I'm going for more offense because we are appreciating a level 70 Nightmare Dungeon experience. That's why I don't go like other builds where they choose Ice Armor. I'm actually taking Ice Blades to reduce the cooldowns of all my other skills when I have it, and I also get to enjoy Lightning Spear doing up to 160% multiplicative damage after I collect Crackling Energy. So I get the most damage from this skill that I can, and I also get to pump out a little bit more damage through Ice Blades and bring the cooldown back off all my other skills, which thus allows me to teleport and navigate around the content more freely. I think that at level 70 Nightmare Dungeon Gauntlet content, this should have no problem staying alive. We are going to enjoy another shield here through protection, but even then we don't have to max this out because we're not getting hit all that much. We're constantly stunning and killing everything so fast that nothing survives us anyway. And because of that, I'm choosing some more offensive options in the skills. The enchantment choices for this build are as follows. You're going to be choosing the Fireball enchantment and also the Teleport enchant. Fireball is the go-to. It feels so great. It helps you clear all sorts of content rapidly, which is exactly what you want to do in a gauntlet or time-based trial. Furthermore, Teleport's amazing because not only does it allow you to have a second teleport where you can use your teleport skill and sort of navigate back, but the distance that you're clearing is better than just using an evade, like that dash forward. For these reasons, that's why we're going to use Teleport. Keep in mind though, this version of Teleport from your enchantment does not make you unstoppable, where the other one will. So when you're using this, just remember, your actual teleport will give you unstoppable for the Tibalt's Will appreciated 40% multiplicative damage. The gear for this build is as follows. You're going to use Harlequin Crest Shako for the helmet, the Raiment of the Infinite for your chest, you're going to use the Gravitational aspect for your gloves. For your pants, you're going to use Tibalt's Will, and for your boots, you're going to use Flicker Step. The weapon for the gauntlet is going to be the Ahavarion Spear of Lycander. For the neck, you're going to look for the Ancient Flame legendary aspect with movement speed after killing an elite, cooldown reduction, and Conjuration Mastery. The 2 rings are going to be Talrash's Iridescent Loop and the Ring of the Starless Skies. So after testing T70, 80, 90, 100 content with this Ball Lightning build, for the Gauntlet, I ended up going with the Ahavarion Spear of Lycander for a huge reason here. We gain a random shrine effect for 20 seconds after killing an elite enemy, but this can only happen once every 30 seconds, until you realize that the seasonal bonus, the blessing, is the Urn of Enduring Grace. It's boost to shrine duration by 50%. So what that means is, we're actually going to get 30 seconds every time we engage with an elite for the Gauntlet. We always have a shrine buff, and that's not with anything else on our gear. So no matter what, every time we kill an elite, we always have a shrine buff. And in my experience, something like Artillery or something like Conduit Shrine, they were absolutely busted. And you'll see here in the gameplay, every time we have that, you just annihilate. Everything just dies with that setup. And Ahavarion is just so choice because it makes that possible. You also get a slight run speed increase when using that, which is good. But there is a penalty. There's a bit of a detriment to this cost, and here's what it is, okay? If you go with the one-handed and offhand, you do get to appreciate more cooldown. You do get to appreciate resource generation, mana cost reduction, but you also get a 30% multiplicative choice if you go with Storm Swell, and you get Conceded, which is another 25% multiplicative damage while you have a barrier. And the way that you get the barrier, just quickly, is you're going to have the barrier through here, your protection, right? Protection off of your conjuration skill tree gives you a barrier every time you cast, or you use a cooldown, excuse me. So you're always popping cooldowns. That's what the whole build does. So you always have that barrier anyway. But I found that running quicker, dealing lethal damage was more than sufficient for what we're supposed to be doing, and Ahavarion is just the king when it comes to that in my view. Now, if you don't have Ahavarion, you can still compete. I don't know how well you're going to do because this is gauntlet-based stuff, but I would recommend you go with something like this, but a dagger, not a wand. So you deal 20% increased damage to close targets. Look for all stats, int, crit damage, and vulnerable damage. Things are going to be vulnerable all the time. And also go with Conceded, like I mentioned. Then you're also going to go for Storm Swell, where you have intelligence, mana cost reduction, resource cost reduction, and cooldown. Between the both of these, all three of these options, I should say, using Ahavarion clearing 70 to 80 content, I was clearing it 30 seconds faster with Ahavarion and using the one-handed offhand option. So I wanted to share that with you. The Gauntlet Ball Lightning Sorc Paragon board looks like this. It's a 6-glyph board. The starting board is going to use the Elementalist glyph. From here, you navigate up, and the first board you're going to connect into is the Burning Instinct board, where you're going to be using the Destruction glyph. From here, you connect over from the left. From the left, you do navigate into the Enchantment Master board. In Enchantment Master, you're going to choose the Unleash glyph. Once you've got that all slotted up, you're going to navigate up, and your next board is going to end up being Frigid Fate. Inside Frigid Fate, you are going to choose the Adept glyph. From here, you're going to navigate over to the left, and your next board is going to be the Ceaseless Conduit board, where you're going to slot Control glyph. From here, we navigate up to our next board, which is going to end up being the Searing Heat board, where we do choose the Exploit glyph. Once we have all that done, we're going to navigate back into our final board selection, which is kicking off of the Enchantment Master board into Static Surge board, where the glyph for this board is going to finally be Charged. Are you still here? Why aren't you doing the Gauntlet stuff, man? Get that build ready to go. March 5th, it launches. You now have the best build. And by the way, somebody tells you they're giving you the best build for the Gauntlet, you're full of shit. Because nobody's played it yet. Myself included, okay? Have a nice time. I'll see you guys in the next one. I got reading to do. Take it easy.